Starting the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Just like my store brand, made in a percolator. Not bad. It's Weiss brand premium coffee. Although it's kind of funny, they don't have a they don't have like a regular brand and then like step up premium. They just say premium right from the get, which I find interesting, but it's not bad at all. I'd serve this to guests. Most Pentecostals, charismatic types, speak in tongues, raise your hands, didn't like Trump in the beginning. Assemblies of God, like those types of denominations, didn't like Trump in the beginning. Now they love him. They didn't like a guy that said, well, just grab her by the pussy. You know, that was like too dirty for them. All of a sudden now he's pretty good, isn't he? See, everything is relative, everything. Somebody's always good compared to somebody. Somebody's always bad compared to somebody, just like you. You are righteous compared to somebody, and you're a sinner compared to somebody. When I see pics of a 40-year-old woman on Facebook, Instagram, hiking in a bikini, standing on a mountain, on a cliff, the edge of a cliff, jet skiing on the weekend, first thing I think is, her kids must be with their father this weekend, and that's the boyfriend, or the latest Bumble swipe, taking pictures of her. If you are not applying lotion to your favorite parts on your wife, then who is? Wouldn't that be nice if you just had a little contract and she said to you, John, it's lotion time. And you put the lotion and you just rubbed it on whatever after her shower. And that was it. When was the last time you had contact other than just like boom, 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 pounding your wife? I mean, just a nice daily where you just stay in touch with one another. Not just a kiss on the cheek, but intimate. But intimate doesn't always have to lead to orgasm. But how are you intimate with your woman? And when I say stuff, well, then who is? If she's not, if you're not doing it with her, then who is? I say that in a provocative manner. Because men, your woman is dying to be touched. She's dying to be touched. One of these days I'll tell you a story about that. Dude, are you still doing blow? Really? That's pretty messed up. And it's pretty 2005. All right? You can stop it. Just stop. Stop. The Q&A last night with the president, very softball broadcast. Even the answers were appealing to everybody, which is interesting. I don't think it was meant to comfort the awakened or the politically red-pilled. Nothing we don't already know. It was 2 hours. I didn't watch it. I watched the first 15, 20 minutes of it. Did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. What are your thoughts? Without getting partisan. Because I'll throw you out of this bar if you get partisan on me. Just kidding. So why have doctors been ordered to name the you-know-what as the cause of death for people who randomly die of other things? This alone, that's your first clue that this is political and not medical. And if you still think it's just medical, I got some swampland I want to sell you. Speaking of land, I do take donations of gold, silver, and land. Some of you have asked for coaching on a regular basis, and I'm starting a formal coaching program, not a therapy program. I'm done doing therapy. Those days are over with. Those days actually ended about 20 years ago. But coaching, getting back on your feet, getting unstuck. I'm not opposed to taking gold. I'm not opposed to taking silver. At all. I'm not opposed to 5 acres of ground either. For someone who's got 250 acres, 5 acres is nothing. It's a form of payment. It's a form of bartering. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not seeking it, but I'm not opposed to it. Half the men on Instagram are just advertising for their next boyfriend. Add a beard to that, and that goes from 50% up to 90%. It's called Instagram, not Grindr. Come on, guys, please. Enough already. You're getting worse than the women. So yesterday I saw on the news, there's murder hornets that are starting to colonize. Must be a slow news day. Murder hornets. They're powerful enough to kill a human being if stung enough times. Death by 1,000 hornets. Whatever. I said, if it wasn't for the Inner Harbor or sports teams, why would anyone go to Baltimore? I said that kind of sarcastically. Not a huge fan of Baltimore. I've done some work there. When I was a full-time commercial actor, you know I've done a lot of things. When I was a full-time commercial actor, I've done a lot of commercials there. Bartender, restaurant commercials. I was a hand model in Baltimore many years ago. Played a doctor several times. You've seen those pictures. A man cannot LARP, and for those of you that don't know what LARPing is, LARPing, L-A-R-P, stands for live action role play. A man cannot LARP as an alpha male and teach younger men about women if he's not manly himself. I find a lot of guys that are talking about masculinity are kind of feminine and sarcastic, which are super female qualities. Like Beavis and Butthead. You go to any like red pill channels and they're just like snickering, you know, over things. It's just weird. And these are the guys that are teaching young men how to be men. We are totally fucked if that's who you're going to. I don't care what fucking book you wrote. Doesn't matter. Experts about female nature, about being an alpha. You can't do it no more than a woman can. Teach young men about how to be a man. That's the goof of the fucking decade. The biggest goof. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And let me tell you something. The guys that you go to, some of you, that you think are cool, red pill guys, in person, I know those guys. I broke bread with them. I clinked wine glasses with them. They're the biggest fucking nerds. And socially inappropriate. Or not socially inappropriate, socially inept. They can't start conversation. They're awkward. But press that record button and boy, they're all brave and they're all experts on women. Not a single one would I give 1 cent to. Not a single one. Wake up. Women really think that. Talking about being sarcastic. Well, I'm sarcastic. I'm a little bit sarcastic. Women think that's attractive. Actually, it's just the opposite. No wonder they're unhappy, drunk, collecting cats, taking yoga, belly dancing, and their kids are their biggest accomplishment. And there's no good men out there, they say. Honey, when you go fishing, do you put the food that you like on the hook or the food that the fish like? Men don't like sarcastic women, so why do you keep saying that's one of your greatest qualities? Ladies, come on, please. Listen to this old gray guy. Modern churches that lower the lights and then they project stained glass windows on the screen are LARPing as Christian churches. They put down tradition, yet they cast stained glass windows and then choruses to songs that they repeat over and over 50 times. And that's called worship. But they don't like tradition and ritual prayers, but they'll sing a song, the same line over 30 times. Run as fast as you can, fellow Christian, please. There's no life in that. They started saying, we don't like lifeless churches. We lift our hands, we lift our hearts, we praise your name, we praise your name, we praise your name, we praise your name, we pray. Boy, you just put God to sleep with your boring worship. Enough already. Don't get me going on modern churches. And when I say modern, I mean anything that was started like in the past 150 years. It's got nothing to teach you. And most modern churches are feminized. 3 things that a man needs to be broken: his heart, his nose, his old habits. That's from a conversation that I had with John Hoover yesterday. You saw that video. The audio was not great. We were Skyping, and the satellite and the network connections weren't the greatest. So thank you for being patient with that and extracting the message. And in part 2 of that, there will be an improvement. But boy, what a great conversation. It occurred to me, I enjoy talking to old guys. And then I looked in a mirror and I thought, holy crap, I'm an old guy. So that's one thing. Old guys like talking to old guys and sharing wisdom. We're not in I guess that's the cool thing about old alpha males. Guys that played sports, led teams, were survivalists, excelled in their work, were the best at what they did. When they get together, they're not competing with one another, like the young alphas are, like the young men who want to win. Old men who have won don't feel the need to win. They respect each other. And that's what you get when I interview an older man. You see respect, mutual respect going back and forth. The Biden candidacy is a false flag, guaranteed. Watch, something else is going to happen. The upcoming presidential election for Democrats has nothing to do with Joe Biden. He's a distraction right now. I'm kind of hoping that will age well. Conspiracy theorists are the new prophets. Don't doubt me on that. Elected officials are the slave traders that sold you out. Not a single one has your back or ever has had your back. Not a single one. You know, politics is the only profession a man can choose where it comes out richer, like super rich. It's not like a regular profession. Like here's Obama, never had a job, never had a fucking job, okay? Promoted because he was a clean-cut black man. Remember Joe Biden said that? Well, he's very clean. Like, really? Really, Joe? So he's in office for 8 years. He has an $8 million townhouse in Washington, D.C., a $15 million house on, well, Martha's Vineyard. So that's what? $23 million. You don't make that much as president. You took those 8 years in office, add up all that salary. How do you get that rich? And that's just his homes, not his investments and the organizations he's involved in. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions, maybe even billions. How do you get that rich? You. Me. Interesting, right? Politics, the only profession you can go into and come out a multi-bazillionaire and act like you care about people. What a game that is, man. Whew. Anyone else find it strange that the IRS is in charge of your $1,200 stimulus check? Your good boy treat. Here, good boy. The IRS. Did anyone find that fishy at all? Come on. Democrat politicians releasing criminals from jail but locking up pastors who decided to have church on Sunday morning, or barbers that opened up their barber shop. Good job. Keep voting in those Democrats. Twitter, the perfect platform for you to refer to anyone who you don't agree with as a racist, sexist, homophobe, fill in the fucking blankophobe. And I'm talking pretty much US liberals, Brits, and you EU slaves, European Union. I love how you show your freak flag. If I was ever hiring, if I was ever in the position where I was hiring people, I would look for your Twitter first and see what your worldview on life is. And I can probably eliminate literally half of the candidates by just looking at their Twitter. The new gym. Split and stack a cord of wood. Turning over a garden with a shovel. Tilling soil for half a day. Planting trees, vegetables, flowers, and herbs. Digging a shallow well. Refinishing a chest of drawers. power washing the house, making love with your wife who is 20 years younger than you. That's what I call going to the gym. If gyms don't open up, that's going to be my gym. All the tattoos and beards can't negate man boobs. Eliminate them at any cost, gentlemen. If you're older than 40, it's about fat loss and just leaning up. 3 or 4 different kinds of push-ups, maybe a nice incline bench routine, along with fat loss can transform the average older guy. Eliminate the flabby chest. I'm committed to you is better than I love you. I will do my best to understand you is always better than I love you. I will serve you is better than I love you. I forgive you is better than I love you. Enough already with all the I love you or love ya bullshit. Showing it is always better than saying it. I've said this for decades, it's better to save the man than save the marriage. Trying to save a marriage is pretty much a waste of time. Trying to save the man, there's always good things happening. He's always worth saving. But not every marriage is worth saving. Some people think, I gotta save this marriage at any cost. No, you don't. I'll be the first to tell you. You have my permission to get divorced. You have my permission to leave that marriage that never should have happened in the first place. There's nothing magical about staying in something that never should have happened. Beware of ruts. Some ruts can be 25 years long. You're always dancing down the street with your suede blue eyes, and every new boy that you meet, he doesn't know the real surprise. The car is 1978. Did you ever notice, when it comes to the media, radio or TV, there's a new prescription med every week with a new weird name. The commercials, they all have the same template. They're visually magnificent, like they're filmed by an A-list Hollywood director. Oh wait, they are. Did you ever see the movie Elegy with Ben Kingsley and Penelope Cruz? It came out in 2008. I forgot how good the movie was. I didn't appreciate the script when I first saw it way back then in 2008. Check out the movie Elegy, E-L-E-G-Y. You'll be impressed with the performances. Don't doubt me on that. And then get back to me and tell me what you thought when you saw it. Brilliant. So this is my final opinion. This is just the oligarchs saying to all the resist people, this is how you do it, bitches. We gave you 3 years. You couldn't get it done. Now, just watch us do it. That's what's going on. Did you get your taste of communism this weekend? Your trip to Lowe's or Ace Hardware, it was pretty shitty. Waiting in line, masks on, the whole bit. Going to church, walking in a park, being at the supermarket, hoping for a vaccine so things can get back to normal. All because some people just don't want Trump reelected. Interesting, right? Taste of communism. If there was no reelection coming up, there'd be no you-know-what and all the social upheaval as we know it. This is just impeachment 3.0. Don't fucking doubt me on that. Nothing is out of the question. You rolled, you failed, you made mommy government your master. Behold, every asset is now deployed, and their method is win by any means necessary. They don't fucking care about you. They turned your life upside down in less than a month. And you're still going to vote for them? It's a great day to get your vitamin D. Put on your shorts, take your shirt off, get out in the sun. Men, you do the same thing too. Making babies is the highest and best use of your penis, men. Everything else is second place. No wonder your life is up. You swapped first and second place. You thought life was all about this. How's that working out for you? All you unhappy bastards. I know, because you write me every day. And I fill up entire auditoriums with you that swapped first and second place. I'm going to put out a video, I think, today on the steps to becoming a great father. Great gift idea for a thinking person. Get them field notes, the little notebooks. Originally used by explorers, naturalists, anthropologists. Normally used with a pencil. They're 3x5 by 5x5. On the back they say, I write not to remember later, I write to remember now. Many interesting cases, folios, snap belt cases are available for that notebook and pencil. Explorers would label them by the season: fall 1937, spring 1952. Everything from secret codes to indigenous plant sketches have been part of the original field notes history. Get yourself some field notes. In a sort of ghastly simplicity, we remove the organ but demand the function. We make men without chests and expect of them virtue and enterprise. We laugh at honor and we're shocked to find traitors in our midst. We castrate and then bid the geldings to be fruitful. C.S. Lewis, 1943. You castrate men and then you want manly things to happen. That's what he's talking about. Don't castrate yourself. Half the castration is self-castration these days. But I think society has castrated itself with divorce and the courts and the judges stripping fathers away from families. So women are raising young men. Okay, lady, I get it. Your son is now in the Marines. Good job. The Marines will teach him more in 4 years than you did in 18 years. That's a fact. A woman cannot teach a man how to be a man. Can't happen. It's impossible. A woman therapist cannot help a man. I'm absolutely convinced that men need to be teaching men and women need to be teaching women. 100%. 100%. When it comes to women, a man can teach or guide a woman, but women don't have the ability to help a man in that way. It's impossible. And what's interesting is the psychological world that I came from, 75% of the practitioners are women. We've never in history had more psychologists, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, whatever, mental health workers in history, yet we are the most fucked up. Facts don't care about your feelings at all. Let's face it, it's messed up. Women can't teach a boy how to be a man. And 70% of the families out there are women teaching boys how to be men. Why do you think my business is raging right now? 90% of my clientele are people who did not have a father or only had a visitor every other weekend. Why do you think Jesse Lee Peterson says you must forgive your mother and return to your father? He's onto something with that. I'm not going to parrot him. He is my elder. He's, about 10 years older than me. So I respect him, but he's onto something. Forgive your mother, return to your father. It's important. And if your father is no longer around, make peace with that man who is no longer around. And forgive your mother for talking shit about him and separating you from your father that God put in your life, but she took away. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.